What's going on? Welcome to the Mr. Rogers Got a Headache podcast. I'm your host, Dennis the Menace. Now, I said menace, but maybe I'm not a menace. I don't believe I should be a menace to you if you've done the research and you looked at all the information in front of us. But still, we know some people are going to find something wrong with anything that I have to say up here today. So we're going to keep moving forward regardless. If you have a problem with something I said today, make sure you leave it in the comments. And for those of you who want updates on current events that matter, subscribe to the channel. It's almost impossible for me to believe that any of you have not heard about the first presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Or should we say sleepy Joe Biden? Because he was definitely sleepy, because he just confirmed it at a DNC campaign fundraising meeting where he said he was just sleepy because his schedule was so long. He was flying around the country. And we also need to talk about how SCOTUS's, or the Supreme Court of the United States, decision on immunity may affect Fani Willis's case in Georgia. Either way, there's a lot of things we need to talk about. All right, let's get into it.
And then really the next question is, who will replace Biden? And I really think this is, listen, I don't know who would be my favorite candidate to replace Biden in a fantasy world, but I haven't had the time to engage in fantasy. The only person who really can do this, in terms of because we're 4 months out. We are 4 months out from an election, right? We're in July.
In my opinion, the Democrats have found themselves in a situation of their own making. Earlier this year, they could have chosen a different candidate. I want to bring up a point that a lot of people aren't talking about. When Joe Biden was running for president the first time, there's a statement that stood out to me. He said that he would be a transitional president, a transitional one-term president. That came out of Joe Biden's mouth. So I don't know, but maybe this is a part of a bigger plan. Either way, at this point, they would only have 4 months to introduce a candidate and rally all of their support to win the election. I do videography and digital marketing and marketing for businesses as well. And one thing that works is if you put some type of pressure on people, if you make people feel like, hey, time is running out. A lot of times you can have people impulse buy your products. I'm not sure if this is the tactic that the Democrats are using, but if they are, this might turn out to be something that works out very well for them. Time will tell.
The elections in November 7.
Hey, parliamentary systems do it. They have shorter elections. It just into ardor and
but they don't have the kind of money that we're talking about. And so you've got $92 million in the bank in the Biden campaign. There is only one person who is eligible to get that money on day one, and that is Kamala Harris. There is nobody else who is eligible under federal election laws to get that money. The money can go through different various super PACs and whatnot to support another candidate, but that super PACs, they do not get the discounted TV rates. There is only one potential candidate right now who has an apparatus that pre-exists today. And that is Kamala Harris.
This guy stumbled when he said Kamala's name. I've done some reels or some videos, probably 2 or 3 of them already on this subject. And I was told in the comments that I was saying her name wrong. Nobody really knows this lady like that. Now, I will say about Kamala is that when she first ran, the issue in the black community was this woman who said she wanted to run, but her record as a DA showed that she was one of the most aggressive DAs towards black men. And then you also had Joe Biden, who was a part of the crime bill. And that was what a lot of people in the black community were talking about at that time. Nobody wanted to support Kamala. Nobody did. Black women didn't have her back. Nobody. All of a sudden now she's getting a lot of support. And like I said, this may be a part of a bigger plan. I'm not sure. I can't say for sure. One thing I know is that in the beginning, nobody supported Kamala. In my opinion, most likely if Joe Biden steps down, it will be Kamala. There's also been talk that a lot of black women are saying if she skipped over, they may not vote for the Democrats. That would be the first time in history that black women didn't support the Democrats. So after you've done it that long, you can't really start making threats and throwing your weight around and have people believe you. The issue of funding is the main reason why I think Democrats, if they do see Joe Biden step away, they should use Kamala.
Congressman Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, let's start off with the latest news in regard to Joe Biden and whether or not he's planning on dropping out of the race. There was a big press conference today, and during that press conference, it was relayed to the American people that President Biden does in fact intend to remain in the race. What is your reaction to that?
I think that's a kind of standard at this point, that the administration, that the president would say that. It sounds like he still needs maybe a little bit of time. The polling coming in, whether it's CNN or New York Times, has a 6-point national lead for Trump. And then some swing state polling, 6 to 7 point lead for Trump in states like Michigan, Wisconsin. I think the other one may have been Minnesota or Pennsylvania, I can't remember. But the fact that those are in play, and you see a national campaign by the Republicans tying our Senate candidates to Joe Biden, I think at some point that the president, who I believe will do the right thing, and I think has done the right thing, will not run.
I did a video earlier this week talking about that, how in the beginning there were a lot of fundraisers, there were a lot of candidates, governors, a lot of different candidates that are up for election now, down ticket, who said they believe Joe Biden would hinder them from even winning their elections. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why Democrats had to get serious. You have your fundraisers and you have other candidates afraid to run on the same ticket as your sitting president. It's definitely time to consider a change. But Joe Biden said he's not stepping down, and there's nobody who can make him step down. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how Democrats, because of their own procrastination and the indecisiveness, have found themselves in this situation. I'm not sure who's pulling the chains in the Democratic Party, but if this is the way that Democrats today move, it's tough to support this type of leadership. Leadership is about results. You can talk about what you're going to do, but people are going to judge you by what's actually happening in real time, in reality.
Because he's going to take the whole ship down with him.
I totally agree with you that if he remains in the race, he's going to take the whole ship down with him. What do you make of the main campaign argument that the Biden campaign has made in regard to Donald Trump being a threat to democracy, while Biden, who's incredibly vulnerable to losing to Trump, just insists on remaining in the race? Like, what do you make of that?
I'm frustrated. I mean, to me, it's like, did you watch the debate? Did Joe Biden, rewatch the debate? Did they see what we saw?
Listen, guys, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I've been watching a lot of different content creators. I've been watching the news, and I've been trying to find a little piece of information to kind of give me some light at the end of the tunnel where I could say maybe this is still going to be a close race. Maybe Donald Trump may not win. Me just kind of playing devil's advocate. I'm not for either side, but trying to get to the truth, or what I like to say is the closest thing to the truth and the closest thing to reality. But at this point, when you look at how many voters before this debate were moving away from the Democratic Party, and then you look at this performance, and we talked about on another video about the moderate Democrats and the moderate Republicans and the people who were undecided. After an action like that, I think there's definitely going to be a group of people that he could never win back. One of the things that the Democratic side of things has talked about is being against ageism. And so we've seen people say, he'll be fine at 86. I'm sorry, guys, but biology is real. We slow down. We don't function quite as well as we get older. I want to know what you think about it. I really want to know what you think. I want to know if there's something that I'm missing. there's something that I'm seeing wrong, put it in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.